Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Genuine Chit-Chat. This week I talked to my buddy Dom. He's a good friend of mine and he's a right-leaning Christian. So me, myself being a centre-left atheist means that we disagree on a few things. This is part 1 of 2. At the start we talk about airsofting, as I've never been and I'm quite interested in it. And Dom's been loads of times and mentioned that we should go together at some point. So maybe in the future I'll be doing a podcast with him after doing some airsofting. But yeah, it was really cool to chat about that. We then discuss zoos, along with animals and fox hunting, and where our viewpoints differ on the matter. Then we talk about gun laws, both in America and in England, and what we think about gun ownership and education, so it's a really great chat. Part 2 will be released in the new year, as I'll be taking a bit of a break over the Christmas period to chill out, but also to record a few more episodes of the podcast. In part 2 with Dom, we speak about the religious extremism and differing views on religion, because obviously with Dom being a Christian and myself being an atheist, it means that we disagree on a fair amount. But I think it's a really important topic that more religious and secular people should discuss, really, in a civil way, in a thoughtful way, where you don't get so angry at each other for having different views. And that's what I liked so much about this talk with Dom, especially part 2, where we talk about religion for about an hour, and we both have different views, but neither of us get really, we don't feel personally attacked by the other one. So I think it's a really important sort of chat. Just before the show starts, there's a word from a fellow podcaster, and then we get right into it. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed recording it. Oh, also, I saw Star Wars The Last Jedi the other day, and it's amazing, so you guys should all go see it if you're Star Wars fans. And also, just a little thing that me and my buddy Alex will be recording a sort of movie roundup in the new year of all the films of 2017 that we saw. So yeah, look out for that. Anyway, on to the show.
Ever wonder what happened to the actor from the 80s movie that you love? What about the director of the 70s splatter film that turned your stomach? Or how about the model that starred in your favorite MTV video? I'd like to invite you to join me, Sean Riley, the host of Second Acts podcast, on the first of each month as we check in with some of the most memorable faces you've forgotten to see what's going on in the second acts of their lives. You can check out Second Acts podcast on your favorite podcast app as well as on YouTube. Also, be sure to check out our Facebook page for bonus content as well as ways to interact with the show. As Scott Fitzgerald once wrote, there are no second acts in American lives, but there are on Second Acts podcast. Here's to your second act.
Welcome to Genuine Chit-Chat, where we have honest conversations with interesting people. And I'm your host, Mike Burton. With the podcasting thing, it's quite funny, because you start the conversation and then it's like having this basically robot penis in your face is like really weird, and it's just like you're not used to talking with like a phallic thing. Well, some people are.
You feel really awkward. It's like the classic thing. You feel you have to knock it and testing.
Yeah, testing. You have to knock it, and then you have to rub it slightly, and then you have to get a bit closer to it and stuff. But yeah, I'm trying to think, because we were talking about this before, when I saw you the other day or something, and we were talking about on this podcast what we could sort of talk about. Because one of the things that you do, which in the new year when it gets more summery, like around springtime, we need to go airsofting.
Definitely.
Because I did that. I think I talked to you about it briefly. The Battlefield Live thing, which is like it's like the pussy version of paintball, because it's not even getting hit by anything, and the airsoft is like the man.
It's a bit like a Laser Quest, only a bit more realistic. The Battlefield Live thing.
Yeah. It's really really fun. Like I had a great time, but it's not, you don't get hurt or anything.
No, airsofting can be really painful. I mean, the first time I went, I think I took about 40 shots to the groin by a very large man with a heavy machine gun, and it almost put me off it for life. But
you're not making me want to go. It's like, it's fun being shot in the balls.
No. Yeah, it's it can be really painful, but it's a rush. It's the same as people doing mountain biking, hill climbing, all that sort of stuff.
Like
it's a rush. Exactly.
About,
yeah. It's I mean, it is the best way to describe it that every airsofter will use, but also hates, is that it is like paintball.
Yeah.
Only more realistic. The the guns you use are BB guns, but they're actually airsoft weapons. They're real imitation firearms. They look identical to a real gun.
Yeah, I think Justin's got my brother. I've seen them.
Justin has got a few. Yeah, I mean, he showed me his when we were over there.
Yeah.
But they look completely realistic. If you can get it in the real world, you can get an airsoft version. The internals are obviously like gearboxes and batteries and motors and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean,
part of the point of it is being hurt is what makes it so enjoyable.
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly that. It's every action has a reaction. If you shoot a guy slower than he shoots you, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So
it makes it more intense as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier to become better when you know how much it hurts.
Yeah.
It's the little incentive to not get shot because it really, really stinks.
Yeah. Rather than just I'm going to lose the game, it's going to fucking hurt.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, standard UK sort of sight law is that any weapon capable of firing fully automatic is allowed up to 350 feet per second on a 0.2 gram BB.
That is nothing to me.
That's the speed it can travel at.
Well, yeah,
and the force.
No concept of that.
You can see it.
Yeah.
But you couldn't drive. You can catch up to it in a Veyron off the light.
Yeah.
You know.
350 feet per second. Fuck. Well, that's like in a minute. Obviously, that's 6 times a 30. Well, if you do 6 times 35, that would be 2,100.
Yeah.
So that's times by 10. That's 2,100.
2,100 feet. Yeah.
I think it's 21,000 feet per minute.
Something like that.
I think that's it. If my maths is wrong, I do apologise to everyone. But yeah, we'll have to do airsoft thing and then do a podcast after that.
Definitely.
Have it intense all day and then just come back, have a couple of beers.
It hurts. It aches.
I'm definitely going to cut though, mate. There's no way. Like my genitals is one of the only things I'm not completely ashamed of in my entire body. So in
fairness, they're like the whole, because I used to be massively into my cars, the car scene, people are generally really sound. Yeah. The airsoft scene, people are the same. I mean, me and my older brother Tom, we go as often as we can. Our other two brothers get involved with it as well, one of which is disabled. Alex has never had any issues. People are always really sound, always really up for talking to him, helping him if he needs it. You know, everyone's really quite an honourable like gameplay as well. So occasionally you get people who like pretend they weren't hit, which is, you know, if you can cope with the pain and not even flinch, all right, fair one. But you know, people on the whole are really honourable. Like they won't walk up behind you and shoot you in the back of the head. They'll warn you. You know, just
that's a good thing.
Pretend you're dead, otherwise you're really going to be dead. Shoot you.
Pretend you're going to be dead, or you wish you were. So.
Exactly. I mean, we went. Me and Tom played at Longmoor Army Training Camp, which is an MOD site, and that's obviously where the real army trains. Yeah. And it's a brilliant site. One of the best sites we've ever played at. And there's like rows of terraced houses and stuff. It's a whole village with a base, like an FOB sort of thing. You'd have out small checkpoint size in Afghan and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Crashed helicopters, crashed tanks.
Oh man, that sort of shit is amazing.
Really, really cool. Like an old train system there. But we were in a row of these terraced houses, and there's basements with tunnels that link some of them, and there's crawl-throughs where people have smashed holes in the walls to go through between the different houses and stuff. And Tom leant down through one of the crawl-throughs and saw a guy walking towards him on the opposite team, and just let rip with his M4, and shot the guy in the shins about 6 or 7 times. Oof. And the guy was just like, oh, fuck, oh, I'm hit, oh, my legs, why do I have to have legs? Yeah, I mean, it can be brutal, but it's really fun. It's really fun. I mean, you can go as into it or not as you want to. You can rock up and pay 40 quid and rent a gun and some eye protection, because by law you have to wear eye protection, you can't take part without it. Ballistic rated as well, so it has to have all the right sort of stamp marks on it and all sorts of stuff. And if they question it, they'll test it by firing a 600 FPS gun, which is way hotter than you can ever use in a game, but they want to be sure at it and from point blank range. And if it cracks, well then it's tough. You shouldn't have rocked up with the wrong sort of stuff. But I mean, you can pay 40 quid, go for the day at a skirmish, which is sort of a bit more like playing Call of Duty. Everyone just runs around. There's loose objectives. There's games and stops, and that way you rent a gun and ammo and some iPro. Or you can go really quite hardcore into it, which is what we try and do. You can do anything up from 8 hours a day for a couple of days, or 12, 24, 36, 48 hours at a time on what are called loosely termed milsims, military simulations, which is where you have to wear certain equipment that the army would wear and all that sort of stuff, like MTP, multiple terrain pattern camouflage clothing, which is what the British Army currently use, certain types of chest rigs and plate carriers and body armours and all that sort of stuff, certain types of guns for certain types of teams, and you literally immerse yourself completely in it for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And live the life of a soldier on a battlefield, sort of thing.
Without obviously the horrendous danger.
Exactly, yeah, without the horrendous danger. But they try and make it as realistic. I mean, some of the really high up there providers like Sterling, and Combat Airsoft Group and stuff like that, they have actors and props and explosions going on and people that look like they've had their limb blown off and all that sort of stuff.
Christ.
I mean, it's all fake. People do unfortunately get hurt during it because it's a contact adrenaline sport, so there's going to be damage.
Yeah, football people get
exactly.
It's anything like that.
But yeah, they really go all out, and they've had helicopters involved in games and speedboat assaults where you go across a lake and pile off at the end of a pier and attack a pier and all that sort of stuff. Like they go insane.
That sounds awesome.
It is so cool. It's like living in an action film, which is amazing.
Yeah, that does sound really cool. It's like you find with a lot when you said about the community and stuff. Like you do find with most things, to be honest, you find that when you're in with the community, as long as it's not like a general douchey thing like the flat earth people or something like that, when it's not something ridiculous, then it's like generally people are quite cool, it's quite rare to go into a place like that. I mean, there's certain places which are when things are a lot more bigger and mainstream in a sense, like the Scouts. When I was younger, I used to go to the Scouts quite a lot, and I went to several different troops, and there's a lot of assholes there because it's so big and there's no niche, and because there's no niche you don't have to be passionate.
Well, it's changed quite a lot. I mean, me and Tom, again, my oldest brother, I mean, I work with him, we hang out a lot.
Yeah.
But we helped out a cub group for a friend of his for about 6 or 7 months.
Uh-huh.
And, Scouts, Cubs, Beavers, the whole system of it, Adventure Scouts, Cadets, used to be really, really good. It was something that kids could get into, get proper sink their teeth into. They could go out and have adventures. It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
We found, unfortunately, it's sort of declined a bit to the stage where it's parents who don't have time for their kids send their kids to Cubs and Scouts.
A lot of them are like very. They have a lot of issues, a lot of the kids. Like,
a
lot of attention.
A lot of them are very spoiled. And
I
obviously,
was one,
Yeah, but like spoiled to one, they're really rude to the assistants and the instructors and the cub leaders and stuff like that. But you're not in a position to discipline them.
Yeah.
They're under your care. But it's not like a school system or anything like that. You don't have punishment systems or anything.
Well,
you can't times outs and all that sort of stuff. Exactly. But it's unfortunate that's happened. But still, you do occasionally get kids who are properly into it. I mean, when I was a kid, I bailed out of doing Cubs and Scouts because I didn't think it was hardcore enough. So I was obsessed with Ray Mears and survival guides and all that sort of stuff. And I used to be in the garden making fires and traps and bows and arrows and spears and stuff.
Yeah.
And I went, and I'm pretty sure on the first week of Cubs, they're like, we're going to learn how to bake bread on a stove. Well, I'm not going to have a stove in a jungle, am I? So that's not really my buzz.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but when I was going and stuff, when I was younger, I apart from I went to I think Cubs, I was in for a while, and then Scouts, I went to 3 or 4 different Scout troops because I got issues. I kept conflicting with people because when I was younger, I was a little asshole as well, which didn't help. And I was really fat, and it was just horrendous being in Scouts. But I liked camping. I like being outside, and I still like it now. And it's one of those things where being outside, when you even as a kid, when you fucking make your own fire and you cook shit on there properly, not like let's make bread. It's like if I'm out in the wilderness, I'm gonna fucking have. Like my mate Alex, who obviously I've done the movie podcast with.
Alex Hart,
yeah. He he's got his bushcraft and that sort of jazz. It's like I'd like to go out there, go camping, and you get like proper meat. You get a wild boar or something. Some people buy like the carcass and you get to skin it and all that sort of stuff. But for some people that's a bit too hardcore. But just going out in the woods, put your tent up, or even doing shelter and stuff, depending on where you are and your sort of abilities and whatnot, and sometimes just being outside, just being in like a forest for like 2 days with no, even if you've got your phone with you.
It's very calming.
It's serene.
Even if you are like a proper city boy. I mean, I was born in Slough, and it's a completely landlocked city.
Well, I've been in Southampton almost my entire life.
Exactly.
So, I'm the same.
But
it's a good escape, isn't it?
Yeah, but I love the countryside. I love the country. If I'd have had my pick, I'd have been born in Cornwall or Dorset or Somerset or something like that, or rural Scotland or Wales or something.
See, that's where you and I differ, because I like living in the city because I'm a boy of convenience, and I like it where I can walk around the corner and get a loaf of bread, or I can just be like go with them. Like in Southampton, especially, we've got cinemas, we've got
very lucky here. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff here.
There's never nothing to do in Southampton. That's the beauty of it, and I like that, but I like Southampton because it's so close to the New Forest. Like me and my friend Justina, I think you briefly met the other week.
Yes, I met her the other day.
She moved here from Poland, I think it's about 8 months ago now, and she hadn't been to the New Forest properly. So we just, a few weeks ago, we just drove over there. I knew the area of New Forest vaguely well, and I could remember a couple of places. So I just parked up. We just went for a wander. We just walked in one direction just for an hour, and it's just moorland. I think it's moors where it's just like it's almost like green desert almost. Where it's just the sort of
moorland and heathland and stuff like that. Yeah, it's brilliant.
And trees and stuff. You just walk, and it's so nice where you can look around in a full circle, and not only can you not see a car, you can't hear a car. All you hear is pure just nature.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful. It's amazing. Like on my lunch times at work, because I work in Tottenham now, and the industrial estate I work on is literally it's the industrial estate. There's the road, and then on the other side of the road it's just green and forest and stuff. Like it's not proper big forest, but it's all fields and moorland and that sort of stuff. Today, in fact, I have a blanket in my car. I went out there and there's a nice little spot between a couple of trees that I go to, and I just opened up the blanket and laid down for 15 minutes on my lunch break. And just listen to the nature and that sort of shit. It's
perfect. It's almost like a recovery system because it's obviously it goes back away, but it's a bit of a weird way of looking at it. But it's natural. Yeah. Even though humans have changed so much over time to want to get in the car instead of hike, and to want to go and buy food instead of hunting and gathering, it is natural. Yeah. Being outside is good for the soul. Yeah. It's something to reconnect to a lost way of life. Even in a tiny bit, just chilling out in the woods for 10 minutes, taking the dog for a walk, going camping.
Things that people forget about is that humans are animals. That's the thing. We like to think there's animals, there's fish, there's birds, there's bugs. It's but we all came from. You go back far enough, we came from the same thing.
Exactly.
We are primates. We may our brains may have become ridiculously. I don't know what the term is, but we're super intelligent compared to other animal stuff. Yeah, advanced and that sort of thing. It's even though we've got that, we are still animals, and we do still have that connection with nature. Trees is one of the base examples of they breathe out oxygen, breathe in carbon dioxide, and we do the opposite. So there's almost no more baseline, simple but beautiful synergy. Do you know what I mean? You have one big tree and one human, and it's just brilliant.
Perfect. Yeah, right there.
And it's funny you talk about that because I've been. Recently, especially the last couple of years, it's been more and more apparent of that sort of thing. But my sister-in-law, Catherine, obviously you've met, she's been doing this thing recently, which I think I've mentioned on the podcast before as well, is rewilding, it's called. And it's basically it sounds quite hippie-ish, but it's not like that. But it's going out to the forest, and it's kind of it's almost like psychotherapy, but woodland. And it's not like you sit down and lay on the floor and talk about your feelings in a way. It's a lot more subtle than that, essentially. I don't know all the details about it, so if I slaughter this, I do apologise for anyone else who's done rewilding. But I'm going to be doing it with her soon at some point. I think I'm going to have her on the podcast because she's going to be starting up her own company or something along those lines. She's going to be doing stuff about it and having people go out to the forest. I think we're going to do a podcast to help talk about it, and she'll be able to bring way more light onto it than I can. But it's the way she's talking to me about it was you go out there some people go there for 4 hours or 8 hours or whatever, and it's one of the things that you do is you just go out for a wander for 15 minutes or so and just find a tree that really calls out to you. Just find one that for something. And occasionally, a lot of people have been talking about recently, instinct. And there's that weird thing that you have where you've just got that pull.
You just know.
Something. Yeah. And that's how I felt. It's obviously very different, but with the podcast, there was a thing about this that I knew when I thought about doing it. Just everything in my mind was just yes, you fucking do this, and it's just I love doing it. And when you're out in nature, sometimes you just get this. Sometimes when you're walking and there's no path, and you just feel you get drawn to a direction, and you end up. Sometimes you go this certain path, and you just come to this really beautiful big open clearing. With the New Forest and stuff, I don't know my way around it that well. But me and Justine just walked in a random direction, and we end up being surrounded by loads of cows. Just not doing anything bad. They're just wandering about. They weren't aggressive. We obviously didn't get too close to them. But there's loads of baby cows, and it was just fucking awesome. And it's just the connection with nature has been lost because we put up all these walls, obviously in houses and stuff, which I'm very fucking thankful for. I do.
It's nice to be warm at night.
Well, exactly, that's the thing. But there is that, part of you which is still wanting nature, and a lot of people lose that. And it's good to have things like when you do airsoft or people go camping, all these sorts of things. Going outside, it's so hard to explain. Obviously, most people have been outside.
It's little things, but I mean, airsofting primarily is played in woodland sites, a lot of it. And we were at a site called Tuddenham, which is up in Norfolk, and it's an old World War II airfield. They used to fly Lancaster bombers from there.
Oh, wow.
And they've got a few disused buildings and stuff like that, like barrack buildings and engineering rooms and warehouses and stuff like that. Yeah. But there's a main runway, and then a load of woodland. And I remember trekking into the woodland on a patrol, because this was a milsim, so we were out there for a decent length of time. And I trekked out on a little patrol, and I knelt down by a tree, just to let some other guys go and scan the area a bit. And I looked to my right because I heard a movement, thought, stuff might be about to kick off. And what it actually was two little weasels playing.
Oh.
And they just rucked around a little bit and then ran off. And I thought, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's just not something, it's just little things like that.
I think it's because everything's
just
so
make
controlled. In the concrete jungles that we have, you've got traffic lights, you've got cars, everything's moving so autonomously.
There's a certain way you have to do stuff.
Yeah, there's like this it's almost like a controlled hive mind. But when you go out to the forest, it's like there's a general consciousness between everything, but it's all very free.
Yeah.
It's almost like beautiful, undamaging chaos. Whereas in the city, it's kind of like super controlled, but everything's chaotic in the sense of the consciousness is chaotic because there's so many people with depression, and then there's pollution, and then there's working 9 to 5 in a job that you hate in an office, and all these sorts of other things. It's like we need these escapes, and a lot of people think, I'll just make loads of money and buy loads of shit. And sometimes sometimes you need to go out to the woods and just spend a couple of hours, not even necessarily with anyone, just not thinking. Just I do love going outside. I do want to in the spring and summer and whatnot. Because see, Alex Hart's moved to Wales, and it's like I wish he had moved to Wales because I want to go camping and stuff a lot more. But it's like I say to Justina, I'd love to just go out to the New Forest and just camp up there. The problem is there's a lot of wardens, people who walk around there, and if you just randomly camp up somewhere, they won't let you. No. You have to do it in the specific areas, which is understandable because humans fucking suck and like to ruin things.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people go out to the wood and they wouldn't leave any rubbish, they wouldn't do anything bad. But 1 in 10 people are going to be assholes. They're going to go out there, they're going to start a big fire, fair enough. They're going to throw loads of bottles and cans and shit on it. Then it's going to all melt and become this horrible stuff. It's going to damage part of the area.
Yeah.
Critters are going to go up there and like, eat all that shit. And it's just like, if people weren't such selfish assholes and didn't ruin things, people could just be like, just go to the forest, have camping, it'd be fine. But then you have to go to these really specific areas and then you have to pay for it and all this sorts of other stuff, and it ruins it a bit. But obviously, that's how it has to be because people ruin stuff.
You have to control it, otherwise it gets ruined too quick. It's been like that throughout time. I mean, like it's a bit more extreme, but it's like buffaloes in America.
Yeah.
There were like millions and millions and millions of them, and within sort of 40 or 50 years, there was like 200 left.
Yeah.
Because it was so good, you could go on tours, you could get on a train that would slow down going through the Great Plains, so you could shoot buffalo as you go past, then they would stop, slaughter them all up, take the trophy bits and the choice cuts of meat, and then just leave on the train to carry on, which is ridiculous. Obviously, a lot of people aren't anymore, but I'm still pro-hunting.
Yeah.
I think it's a very natural thing. I think it's a very traditional thing. So long as you do it in a way that is not needlessly abusive, then I still think it's okay.
I used to be against hunting until I listened to I'll speak to you about it and stuff, and I listened to a lot of Joe Rogan podcasts, and he talked about hunting a lot. And one of the things that he was describing, and I didn't realise this in America, a lot of people don't realise this, they hear hunting, you go out with loads of your mates, you shoot like billions of bullets into hundreds of animals and shit, and you destroy them. It's like, no.
That's poaching. People get the two confused quite a lot.
Yeah, with America, what I know specifically in America is they have like areas where you have to buy tags, and they've got like X amount of elk, and they go, okay, well, the elk population is currently, for example, 500, we've got 500 too many elk. Okay?
Yeah, to keep a stable system, we want this many. We currently have too many because we can't control the breeding. So we can only cull them. Yeah,
you pay for the tags. The money you pay for the tags goes towards conservation of the area and for rangers to go out there, make sure no one who isn't buying tags and isn't going out there killing loads of animals, isn't doing anything wrong. You're keeping the population in check where we've like fucked around with the whole ecosystem and killed all their natural predators. If you just leave it, like I think in Australia, they have so many deer that they have to fly a helicopter with like a machine gun, just gunning them down because there's so many. They're just destroying everything. They just eat so much.
Yeah, they become like a plague across the land. You have to manage it somehow.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a great program for anyone who is, even if you're not a fan, Louis Theroux. Obviously,
that's immediately you were saying, talk about hunting, and then everyone's a bit like, I'm not sure you get Louis Theroux. We'll fucking watch it.
Yeah, definitely gonna watch.
Anyone British is like, if Louis Theroux's in it, I'll fucking watch it.
Yeah, he is definitely at the celebrity dinner table. That man gets a free dinner any day.
Yes, definitely.
But he is, his journalism is great because his opinion. People really have to drag it out of him to get his opinion. He just asks a lot of leading questions to open it up for people to make up their own mind, which is great. But he does one in South Africa about hunting. And it's absolutely great because you see quite a lot of how the conservation's improved so much. There's one guy he's talking to, unfortunately they do breed lions and all sorts of big game and predators and what would normally be prey animals, all sorts for hunting.
Yeah.
The lions, they were dying out in the area. there's now an overpopulation of them because they breed them for the hunting.
Yeah.
There's certain types of antelope and stuff like that that were on the verge of extinction. Now they have too many they don't know what to do with because they breed them for people to hunt.
Yeah.
And the money people pay for, one trophy, like I think as they did one, it was a zebra, and I think it was like $2,000 for a trophy. And that $2,000 is enough to keep the business going, so everyone's wages who works on the farm where they breed them and keep the area going where it's protected, where people can't come in and poach and overhunt. It's enough to keep the breeding programs going. It's enough to feed animals through hard winters and hard summers and stuff like that. It actually has a great impact on the welfare of other animals for that going. And it's not like they go, oh yeah, he's a year old, he's barely lived any life, let's gun him down. He's had a happy life, he's lived naturally, not in fear of someone rolling through with a machine gun and gunning him down for just his hair or something like that. I mean, like elephant hunting, elephant poaching was insane to the point where people were massacring whole herds of elephants with heavy machine guns on the back of a jeep. These poachers would rock up with a heavy machine gun on a jeep, gun down the whole herd, cut off the ivory and leave.
Well, that's
horrendous waste.
Rhinos as well. That's like I think the white rhino now is extinct by one. I think it's like 5 or 6.
In the wild they're like all gone. This is ridiculous. But that the money saved and through proper hunting and proper breeding for hunting prevents things like that. And a lot of people don't realise that when you say hunting in England, a lot of people go fox hunting. That's the first thing that comes to their mind.
They think of loads of rich dudes on big horses.
Exactly that. Exactly that. They think bloodthirsty dogs, bloodthirsty men who have too much money, not enough sense, on a horse, chasing it across the countryside till it's a bloody smear. The laws have been changed. Fox hunting is illegal, then not illegal. So many times it bats back and forth. But the most common perception of it, how it was, that worked, in my opinion, for quite a long while, was the hounds are still able to be used for the tracking and the scenting. You have to finish the fox with a gun, equally fair. You are allowed to cross-country chase, which some people think is unfair in that it puts fear in the animal, which, yes, it does, in a way. But that's fine. Which, in a way, it will put fear into the animal, but it's a traditional part, and you can't please everyone. Some people are going to go, that's wrong. Some people are going to go, yeah, that's right. Why would you take a tradition away from someone to change what you want? If you don't like it, don't get involved. Equally, to make the animal suffer by being ripped apart by dogs is ridiculous. So you can't do that. But to keep the dogs in the tracking and the scenting purposes stops those dogs from becoming extinct. Because if the breed, it's purely a working breed. Foxhounds, they make terrible pets by all accounts, as much as I know into it. Other people may say they make wonderful pets, but you equally may live with 6 fields around your house, half a woodland and acres of land. If you live in a city, in a house, my Labrador is a gun dog, but she is happy to be on the couch all day. She loves a snuggle. She goes out for regular walks through the woods and the fields down the road. But equally, we live in a city. She's happy. She lives a good life. I don't know that I could keep a dog like that in the same manner. Like a foxhound would probably go mad in my house. So if you stop fox hunting, why do you need the foxhound? So you're saving a surplus of foxes, which will then have too many, so they'll kill lambs and other animals that they'll have an effect on. The knock-on effects is so huge, but people sometimes forget to look at that, and they just look at, I think that bit's wrong, so I should stop the whole thing.
I've got cognitive dissonance about the fox hunting thing, because I personally, with the cross country chasing them down, I'm not sure. It's one of the things where I don't really agree with that. But then again, if you were going to do fox hunting, how would you, if a fox starts running away? Is it you'd have to have really specific parameters? And if that was the case, then the foxes would know, and then they never go in the parameters, you would never be able to hunt them. The way I think you could only succeed with fox hunting, because foxes, unlike elk or some of the other hunted animals where you can hunt them for meat. With fox hunting, you can do pelts, which I don't believe that fur alone is a good enough reason to kill an animal. However, I will say, to play a bit of devil's advocate, foxes, as adorable as they are, and I do love foxes, they can be pests, and the way that I'd say the most ideal way of doing it would cost quite a bit of money to start up, but I think the only way that I personally could be super happy with fox hunting was if they somehow got a read of all the foxes in... do you take a phone call?
No, you're fine.
Okay. The only way that I think I'd be able to be okay with fox hunting would be if they somehow worked out how many foxes there are everywhere, and then kind of kept them breeding and kept them going and kept the population steady, and then if they around certain areas where there's a lot of farmers and stuff, there was certain areas where if foxes went within a certain mile radius of farmers with X amount of chickens or X amount of this, if there was, say, some sort of weird thing where every farm, if there's a 3 or 5 mile parameter around the farm where you're allowed to hunt, I'd say that would be okay with me, because then it's... One thing that people don't realise, or don't think about a lot of the time, is with animals like foxes or certain other animals, is like there are, before humans came about, there were natural predators. You know, we're not the only animal on the planet to kill other animals. You know, we've probably done a lot worse. We've done a very bad job and it's made a lot of extinct. But there's a lot of animals which will have natural predators that we've got rid of or we've killed, and these sorts of things. And it's like animals kill each other. That's you know, we're animals.
It's natural.
That's the part of it. It's like, you know, I don't think you should rip apart foxes with dogs. I think that's horrendous. But using them to scent and track, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I think for me to be moral about it, I would say they'd have to be a pest, and they'd have to be keep the population under control, have the tagging sort of thing like they do in America, and use the money from the tagging to help conservation.
Exactly that.
And then if you did it around farms and stuff, it would save the farmers, save the sheep and the lambs and all that sort of stuff. And it would be equal, because that's what nature's all about. Or when nature works well, which is not all the time, because pandas, for example, they're fucking atrocious at breeding.
They're just too lazy.
If it wasn't for us, like pandas would pretty much be extinct. Right?
Yeah,
like they literally,
there is such a thing as natural extinction.
Yeah, it was exactly, it's natural selection, isn't it?
It's exactly that.
The Darwinism and stuff. It's evolutionist, and we've actually we're saving pandas, which really should be extinct right now.
Yeah.
I love pandas, but they should be extinct because they're fucking terrible.
They're adorable and hilarious, but equally rubbish at breeding, so they kind of deserve to be extinct.
Well, that's the thing, you know, and it's like, if we let nature kind of do its own thing, but had a little hand in guiding it a bit, I'd be fine with that, you know. And if we can keep all the right things going, then I'm happy with that. But with hunting, like, I don't know. I'm not saying we should necessarily start eating foxes, but would fox meat be good? Yeah, I don't know.
If I was offered it,
give it a go.
if I went to a foreign country and they said, "Here, try this," I'd eat it.
Yeah,
so
I'd try
when we were kids, we were given rabbit.
Yeah,
and
rabbits are pets, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Way more people are rabbits than pets.
We were told
than foxes.
We were told it was chicken. Because Mum and Dad didn't want us freaking out, going, "Oh no, you've killed a rabbit!" and all that sort of thing. It was delicious. It's still delicious. I will eat rabbit anytime. Venison, equally delicious.
I really want to try venison.
And another one that people are really on the fence about, and people go, "Oh no, that's horrible," is veal. Veal is bull calves.
Yeah, my mum really likes it.
If you have too many bulls, you know, they'll hurt each other fighting over breeding. A farmer has to pay to keep them alive. When the bull is old and ready to die, the meat is worthless. No one wants to eat it.
Yeah.
If it's not good enough, he won't let it breed because he won't make money.
Yeah.
He can't milk it. It's not good for beef unless it's as veal.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do with it? He can't afford to live and keep his farm open and keep cattle going, which is our supply of beef and milk, without by wasting money on animals that will make him nothing. So the bull calves have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
If they can live a happy life until they are killed and butchered in the standard way, as things where we get pork, lamb, and all that sort of stuff, and mutton, then that's fine. It's not like they are straight out of the womb and onto a plate.
Yeah.
It's they live a happy life where they're well fed and they get to run around fields until it comes to them time for them to go to an abattoir and be butchered. Absolutely fine. It's natural. You know, people. It's quite rude of people in a way to think you can't have that. It's wrong. Well, have you looked into why it happens? And for I've seen animals being slaughtered for meat purposes and all that sort of thing, like on TV. I've seen the process it goes through with my own eyes, sort of thing. It's a natural thing. I'm going to eat the pork. I like pork. I'm a big guy. Pork is delicious. I'm going to eat it. Yes, it was a cute pig. Equally, it wasn't my pet. In countries, some countries, Asian countries predominantly, they eat dogs. Yeah. That's fine. I'm not going to eat my Labrador. I love my Labrador. She is like a child to me. Yeah. However, if in another country someone went here try this dog,
I'd try dog.
I'd try the dog.
The thing is, I think what we have to do as a society, especially all societies, we have to, because obviously every culture is slightly different. You know, obviously, a lot of the Asian cultures they'll eat dog, and obviously
they'll eat anything. They eat rat. Rat's really big in Vietnam.
Well, exactly. You know, it's that sort of thing. But it's like, I once again have dissonance on this. You know, I would morally, I'd like to be a vegan mainly because of factory farming and the horrendous conditions they have.
Yeah.
But if we could have a system where all animals live at least fairly good lives. Oh, my cousin is calling me right now a lot, and she's saying it's urgent. I'm sorry, guys. We have to pause the podcast, and then we'll come back to talking about all this sort of stuff as well. And I imagine Dom's probably going to go for a cigarette or something. So we'll pause here. Back in a moment, guys.
We'll be back.
And we're back. Sorry, cousin Charlotte. She called. She threw a wrench in the whole fucking system. She called me up and moaned, saying this is really urgent. I was worried something really bad happened to her. And it just turns out she really wanted to do a podcast with me, with her friend Natalie. And she was demanding to come over here, like, right now to do one. And I was like, no, I've got Dom. And Dom's a busy guy. And, you know, we've been trying to organise this for a while. So yeah, sorry for that interruption, guys. Get back into it. What we were talking about was basically, animals and stuff. We think that there should be, if it's going to be hunting and stuff, there has to be reasoning behind it. Yeah, it has to be pest control. They have to be good for the ecosystem. You have to generally, food for it as well. It has to be like a means to an end. The animals can't suffer, and it has to be for the benefit of the ecosystem and for conservation reasons.
Not just for something to do. It can't just be a hobby and you'll shoot it and go, oh yeah, brilliant, take a picture and leave.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, fur coat, really warm, antlers, really cool on your wall. But equally, if that's all you did it for, it's not really fair.
Yeah, it's not
There's got to be some good reason for doing it. Someone's going to eat out of it. Someone's going to make money out of it for that they need. Not just like, I got 20 quid because I let that guy shoot my deer.
Yeah.
But I made money to fold back into conservation or to improve the life of other deers and all that. Something good that will come of it. A knock-on effect. Like a ripple in the water, not just. It was really fun going out to shoot that.
Now, see, you were talking about. If you can hear that, guys, that's Dom playing with my fidget spinner.
I can't help it.
It's very tantalising.
Addictive.
I leave it out just so when people come over, they can fiddle with it rather than fiddling with me. No one ever fiddles with me without being asked to, but Dom has. He's doing it right now. He's not. He's too far away. He's trying to rub my feet though. When we were. In between me having that phone call and starting up recording again, you mentioned Longley, and I'd like to. I really like going to zoos.
Man.
I love going to zoos, but once again, I have cognitive dissonance on this. For people who don't know, cognitive dissonance is having two conflicting ideas about the same thing, or two conflicting opinions. And I love zoos. I love going to zoos. I love seeing animals in zoos. I think it's great for kids to learn about animals and stuff. However, a lot of animals that you see in zoos, primarily things like lions and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's very rare to see lions that are that happy in zoos because they like to explore. They're like cats. If you keep a house cat, a lot of the time they won't be as happy. Mm-hmm. But like giraffes don't give a fuck. Giraffes are like if you have a giraffe in a zoo, they're happy as fuck because they just have no predators.
Yeah,
it's if you have a predator in a zoo or a really really intelligent animal, then they get bothered. They
struggle.
Get upset.
Yeah,
exactly. When you get animals that are quite middle ground intelligence, or they're normally constantly fear of being killed by sharks,
like a wildebeest. You are there to eat grass, poop, and be eaten by other stuff.
Yeah,
you are really stupid, and there's millions of you. So
like me now.
you'd be happy in a zoo.
I mean, in a zoo.
My girlfriend and I went on holiday to the Isle of Wight. We went to a place called Amazon World, which is brilliant. You walk through and there's lots of animals you can go. We did a tapir experience where we went in and fed Brazilian tapirs.
Oh yeah,
and brushed them and give them scratches and all that stuff. Incredible animals, really really amazing to be up that close with them.
Yeah.
There's also like a wallaby walk through there where you can go in and feed wallabies and stuff. We also went to the Isle of Wight Zoo. Mm. It is really unfortunate that is a terrible zoo.
Right.
They are really trying. You can tell people are really trying, but it's unfortunately I just think it is declining. Mm. But I mean, they have a leopard in there in an enclosure that's probably no bigger than the average living room, maybe twice the size of the average living room.
Fuck.
And it was just laid down in like a tree trunk on its side that had been hollowed out. It was just laid down there on a bit of straw for every time we walked past it, and it's pretty much in the centre. So we were walking around and past it quite a few times. It just hadn't moved. It was just looking really bored. And they had some monkeys that equally looked quite bored.
Yeah.
And they had quite a few tigers, which was cool, and a few lions, which they just looked really bored. Yeah. There weren't massive expanses of room for them to roam around in or anything. They weren't particularly active and happy looking. They just looked bored, which is unfortunate, which is not what you want. I mean, in a way, it's beneficial that they're in zoos because you can make sure something can't go extinct. If you can keep it in a zoo, it may go extinct in the wild, but you've at least got a chance to keep the animal going through that. And the breeding programs, they have European breeding programs, worldwide, UK.
A lot of people who work in zoos do really care about animals.
Exactly.
There's just certain animals which I just don't think they either shouldn't be in a zoo or they should. Unfortunately, money is a factor, but there's certain animals, mainly like lions, tigers, a lot of the big cats, where they would need such a huge roaming ground that that for humans to go and watch them, it wouldn't be viable. And the problem is that not not as many people would like to donate money to to save certain animals and not be able to see it. Obviously, there are a lot of charities about conservation and that sort of thing, and you can sponsor a leopard and that sort of thing. But it's like what we'd need ideally is to have like a huge zoo, like a city, and like each area is like a species of animals, and you'd have to have like a giant glass dome over it and have the humans like almost at the top. Like, have you seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
I love that film.
Brilliant. The dolphins. Thanks for all the fish.
That's amazing.
Amazing. They crack me up.
I love that whole. It's narrated by Stephen Fry. That's one of my favourite movies ever. But towards the end where Arthur Dent, aka oh god, what's his name? What's the actor? I should know this. He's a massive Martin Freeman. There we go. When Martin Freeman and Bill Nye are on that weird moving platformy thing, and they're going around like they're making all that stuff, and like being on this like super high moving platform, like over it all, being able to look down upon like creatures in their natural habitat and not fear of being poached or killed by the predators, that would be really cool. But the amount of money that would cost to create something like that
would be insane.
And people want a zoo where they could just kind of slowly wander about, look. When I've been to Marwell or Longleat, majority of animals are fine. There's a lot of animals really like. I don't know about penguins, for example, but you see penguins, they don't normally seem that upset.
They seem pretty chilled, waddling around, eating fish when they get fed and swimming about.
We see them on like either Planet Earth or Blue Planet or Frozen Planet, any of those things. They have fucking terrible lives. They like
they are freezing cold.
Well, they're freezing
huddled
cold
together.
All the time. They're always like there's those ones where they have to like jump off those big rocks and swim, and then a lot of them just die, just falling in the water and hitting rocks and shit. And it's like they're probably pretty happy, like meerkats and stuff. They're probably pretty happy not being on the lookout for like eagles and like bobcats or anything like that attacking them. Actually, bobcats I don't think are in Africa or where meerkats are from, but regardless, big cats and things like that and big birds, it's like they're probably if you're living your entire life in fear and then you take away the predator, it's probably quite chill. But if you're a predator and you take away like the thing that gives you that adrenaline rush, chasing the prey and stuff, then it's shitty. It's that sort of thing. So I do have this dissonance with zoos where I think certain animals should be in zoos, but other animals maybe not. I mean, a bit of sloth in a zoo. Sloths don't give a fuck.
So, certain things will thrive in it. Others will probably really hate it. But you can't really get around it.
Yeah. Well, they used to have zoos because before the internet, you couldn't see an animal that wasn't from your native place. And even going from country to country, go back a couple hundred years, that's basically impossible. Obviously, I think the Wright brothers. That was in the early 1900s, I believe. Because I think I think it was something like from making a plane to actually being able to fly, it was within a decade they were dropping bombs out of it. That's how close together it was. You know, it was like, oh, we can fly bombs, and it's like World War One. I think was one of the first times where bombs were actually being dropped out of planes and things like that. So. Before the 1900s, there weren't planes or anything. So travelling to America, obviously, in 1776,
3 months on a boat, then you
could die on the boat. All this
exactly, and and then you've got to try and cross America, which in itself was a mission.
Yeah, it's kind of a mission now, and you get planes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, people say, "Oh, cross over America, it takes like hours and hours and hours on a plane," and it's like that's nothing compared to before planes.
Exactly.
So you couldn't see other animals without zoos. So. Even though it did make them suffer, for human knowledge, I don't know if this is valid because it's a very grey area of how many animals should suffer for human knowledge. Like, would you say one leopard having a horrendous life for, let's say, 1 million humans having a knowledge of leopards? Like, I don't know if that's viable. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it is or isn't, but it's just like, at what point, like, how much do you value knowledge and how much do you value, like, pain of an animal? And where's the balance,
Yeah.
There's always these grey areas in life, and what triggers me is when people try to act like they know. Do you know what I mean? When they're like, no, this is definite, like with the hunting thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people who are just like, blanket term, all hunting is bad. It's like, no, there are parts of hunting that's bad, there are parts of hunting that can be good. It's like, if there were like some rampant, rabid, say, wild dogs got out, or wolves, and they had this disease on them that if they bit you, you got like super rabies or something.
Yeah.
And they were like hundreds of thousands of these wolves going through our streets. You wouldn't have loads of people protesting saying, don't kill the wolves.
Don't kill the wolves, they're cute and cuddly and ripping my leg off.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd say kill the wolves.
So it's
they're in my garden, get rid of them.
Most people would be like, get rid of those wolves because they're killing everyone. And then it's like, okay, take one step back from that. What if they were just rabid and weren't super rabid, they were just normal rabid? Would you do it then? Yeah, most people say kill them. Then you take a step back from that. And the way I find with people when people really protest things and are really against stuff, what I like to try and do a lot more recently with them is I'll ask them, okay, you ask them of a really extreme example, you know, that when people would go, one thing I like to do is when someone says, I'd never jump out of a plane, you know, as skydiving. A lot of people would say that. And I'd say, okay, would you do it for £1 million? And most people say yes. Okay. Would you do it for 500 grand? And they go, yes. And then you can cut it down and down and down. And what you find a lot of the time, I'm guilty of this as well, is people don't really know how much they do or don't want to do something. Because if you really, like, for example, right, I'm not gay, okay? I don't want to suck a dude's dick. But if you paid me the right amount of money, I would suck a dude's dick.
Yeah, that money will set me up for life. What's 5 minutes of not enjoying something for being set up for life?
Well, exactly, and that's £1 million. Well, if you go back to, like, if you said, let's say 50 grand, okay?
Yeah.
Now, 50 grand, that's a lot of money. Like, that's a down payment on a house. And it's
That is
like,
a huge down payment. Your mortgage payments will be cheap.
Exactly, and it's like, well, would I do something that I really don't want to do and would make me feel probably quite sick, to be fair. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm homophobic or anything, but generally with sexual things, if a gay guy, you know, tried to go down on a woman, that would make him feel uncomfortable in the same way that me sucking a dude's dick was. So it's like, at what point, like, the X amount of time of it being really unpleasant for how much money? You know, like, eating someone's shit. This is obviously incomparable to sucking someone's dick. I'd much rather suck someone's dick than eat shit. But, like, I really, really wouldn't want to eat shit. But if you said, Mike, I'll give you 10 grand to eat someone's shit, it's like 5 grand I think wouldn't be enough, but I think 10 grand, that's like, that would like, eating someone's shit, that, like, if someone said you have to have like a whole spoonful of shit, eat it and swallow it, obviously you'd puke afterwards and stuff, it's like, that would really suck. But like, from you putting that spoon near your mouth to you being done with puking and washing your mouth out, probably having a cold shower, like a chemical shower maybe, and it's like, from the point of just about to do it to after there's no more discomfort from it, that amount of time and that amount of unpleasantries, how much money is that worth?
Exactly. I mean, people would mock you for the rest of your life. You would feel disgusted with yourself, and you'd probably be ill for a while. However, you could recover in your mortgage-free house.
Exactly.
So,
it's just like, well, I had this
all the way to the bank.
Exactly. And with people with those sorts of things, like with hunting and stuff, I like to try. Recently, more so, I've been trying to. When people say, I'd never do this, or I'd never do that, I try and kind of figure out, you know, sort of why and where the steps would be. You know?
Exactly.
And that's always quite a nice way of finding where people actually... Because a lot of the time you do that to people, and a lot of the time people go, I wouldn't do that for that. And then you go, you do it for $1 million. And then when you knock back eventually, you realise they'd probably do it for 20 grand. Because, like, 20 grand, like, the average wage in Britain is 22 grand, okay? But that's before tax. So you've got to think, like, working for a solid year, no tax being taken out, and nothing coming out of your income, all for however long of something unpleasant. And it's just like, most of the time people call that. Yeah,
exactly. But that sort of, the taking a step back to open up someone's view a bit more, that works in all walks of life as well. I mean, the really obvious one that I find, because, you know, I'm into firearms and the airsoft and all that sort of stuff, in America, obviously, they get a lot of mass shootings. They have a lot of gun problems.
I want to talk to you about gun laws, actually. I thought about this.
There's a lot of murders, there's a lot of mass shootings. The gun control system does need a reform in some way. People should be allowed to own firearms.
Right.
I think it's a good thing, so long as they're not mistreated, obviously, but you need laws in place to make it a case-by-case basis.
Right.
The adage goes around that the only sure way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Right.
So when people say, especially in this country, because the gun laws are incredibly controlled in this country, people go, guns are bad, it should be illegal to own a gun in America. Excuse me. Well, if you think back to, I mean, any of the mass shootings, a guy walks into a room full of people, into a bar, starts shooting. People will run and panic. It's a natural instinct.
Yeah.
Some people their natural instinct is to fight that man and try and protect others.
Yeah.
And they're heroes. However, what are you going to do? You're 40 feet away, you're going to try and pick up a chair and attack him with a chair.
Yeah.
He has a gun. You can never run faster than his bullet.
That's true, yeah.
However, if he looks to his left and shoots at people over there, then looks to his right, someone on his right's already pulled a gunshot. Unfortunately people may have died, but you've stopped a lot more dying. Because that man legally owns a gun. And when people go, guns are wrong, you should never own them, well, if someone breaks into your house with nothing but murder in their mind, and you had a gun, surely you're going to reach for it.
It's one of those things where, with the gun argument, every country and every culture is very different, and the problem is once again with this gun argument is that everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people who talk about gun laws seem to say they know the answers when you can't, because not everything's been tested. But with the gun thing, I will say with someone with a mass shooting and things like that obviously it's such a grey area, and there's so many different parts to talk about, because like with me and Tom spoke about the podcast, which is one I released recently, about the Las Vegas shooting. The majority of the guns that guy had were illegal, and he was hiding in a hotel room, and you could have had a gun, but you can't see him. You couldn't have figured out.
Exactly.
In fact, Tom's girlfriend Laura stayed in that hotel when she went to Vegas. How fucked up is that? And with gun laws and stuff, I think in America, if you just made guns illegal now, you can't. It wouldn't solve anything.
There's too many in there. You
There's
can't
more
do
guns
it.
than people in America.
Exactly.
But in England, the thing is, like in England and Australia, for example, it worked because Australia had a mass shooting. They got rid of guns, no mass shootings. Over here, me and Tom spoke about it in the last podcast. There was the Round Moat thing, which was there was that one guy with a shotgun in North Cumbria, and I forgot. I spoke to my sister-in-law Catherine about this, and she was like, "Oh, you didn't mention this one," and I can't remember what it is. But there was a guy, it was when Justin was younger, so I think it was about 20-ish years ago. There was a guy who went to like a classroom and he just gunned down loads of kids. It was like 30 kids and a teacher or something.
Yeah.
This was like 20 years ago. I don't know all the details.
No, but I'm pretty sure I know what you're on about.
Yeah, well that thing, like those two things, occurrences, there may be a few others that have happened in England, but in England, we don't have a gun issue because there are no guns. And getting a gun in England now is really, really hard.
Yeah, it is really hard to get
in
guns.
America, there's already guns. So if you made it illegal, all the guns are still there. You could do a thing in Australia in a similar way, but the thing is, an argument which has come up, which I'm starting to agree with a bit more, is Australia is the size of America, but has a population of, I think it's like the population of Australia is like 20 million. Whereas the population of America is like 330 million, and they're the same size. So,
exactly.
With America, what I think, in my view, I'm not a gun expert, and I'm not an expert on American politics either, but the way I look at it is, what I think it should be, is also in America they automatic rifles I think in all the states are illegal, but
automatic firearms are completely illegal,
but semi-automatic illegal in some of the places.
Yeah, they're also thinking about bringing in various magazines. I mean, a standard Stanag magazine which fit an M4, which is a very common type of weapon platform, is 30 rounds. They're now thinking of bringing in laws to regulate it to 10 rounds maximum.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think, in my opinion, the way this isn't necessarily based on loads of education and loads of looking into it. This is from what I've heard a lot about the Joe Rogan podcast, a lot of sort of other things. I'd like to hear what your opinion is on this as well. I would say that in America there should be shotguns just for hunting, just like double barrel sort of things. No more than 2 shots in a shotgun sort of thing. Probably 1 really, but 2 would be okay. And handguns. For me, I'd say if you have anything more than like a hunting rifle with like a 1-shot bolt action sort of thing, hunting rifle, a shotgun and handguns, you shouldn't be able to buy anything else. And I would also say the magazine sizes, there should be a cap on it. Like handguns, probably, I don't know the exact clip sizes, but I'd say you shouldn't have more than 10 bullets in a clip, So, because then, if there was a mass shooting, you could shoot 10 people, but when you have to reload, then someone in America, if they had the gun, then potentially that heroism could come about. And also I'd say they shouldn't sell guns in Walmart. I think that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. I think that's literally Asda over here. Like, for anyone who doesn't know about Walmart stuff, imagine going to, like, Asda in Britain, or Tesco, or any of that sort of shit, or Lidl. Yeah. Imagine going into Lidl.
Going into Wilco or something like that.
Just buying a gun.
A firearm.
You go on Google, right? Like, I went on there a few months ago, because I was talking about this with someone, and I heard about Walmart selling guns. I was like, it can't be. And literally, if anyone's listening to this right now, go on your phone, on your computer, literally go into the Walmart website, search bar gun, and literally, you can buy actual guns in Walmart. Yep. They have aisles in Walmart with guns. It's like, it should be, you should have to, because people say also in America, one of the arguments is, people drive cars, and obviously what's happened in England recently, and in a few other places in America, I think there's one recently as well, and other places in Europe, people drive a van on the sidewalk or the pavement and kill those people. Yeah, but to get a car, to have a car, you need a license, you need this, you need that. Yeah. With guns in America, you can buy a gun, I think it's a 3-day waiting period, and in all the states it's slightly different, What I think it should be is, you have to do gun safety training. You have to, if you have guns in your house, it should be similar in the way that Britain has it, where there's each person who can touch the gun has to be registered and licensed. They have to do gun safety courses. They have to do refresher courses every, 5-10 years or something, and there should be locked away in a cabinet or a safe or some sort of safe place somewhere where, because like toddlers in America are always getting killed and killing people because people have guns in their handbags or on their side, and children are dumb because that's what being a child is, You get kids but if a kid's being done with a knife, they could inadvertently stab themselves or someone else, but a kid with a gun, That's a
exactly
different kettle of
you
fish.
live and learn, but when you're playing with something that deadly, that's you're not going to live and learn.
Yeah.
Someone will die.
So what's your opinion? That was my thing on guns, which is handguns, bolt action hunting rifles, shotguns. Everyone should have licenses, courses, all this sorts of other stuff. That's how I'd say it should be. A lot more tight than driving license. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on this? Because you're a lot more with airsoft and gun stuff.
With handguns particularly,
Yeah.
I would say a handgun poses a greater danger than a long arm.
Okay.
Because I have holsters and stuff. I can airsoft terms, of course, but I've shot real guns and I'm into real firearms and
You're
stuff.
much more gun person.
My dad's family is American, so it's it is a thing. Firearms are a way of life over there. Yeah. I holster in airsoft. I holster my handgun on my hip. I can draw that in a second.
Yeah.
I can be up and fire off 5 rounds.
Yeah.
If I, holstered is in a safe position sort of thing, in load carrying purposes.
Yeah.
Load carrying purposes, my rifle may be slung across my shoulder, or it'll be on a bungee sling that goes from my shoulder down there and retains it, so it's in a ready position, so I can just and up and ready to fire. It's quicker for me to draw a pistol than it is there. I can hide my pistol on myself.
Yeah.
You can't hide a 3-foot gun as easily as you can hide a 6-inch pistol.
That's a good point. That's a very
And I could walk down the street, and if I walk with purpose and look like I should be in there, I've got a couple of shopping bags, I'm walking into a store, got my cell phone out, I look fine. I could have 2 guns on me.
Yeah, one each hip, easy.
Exactly. I could have one under my jacket, one tucked into my pants.
You probably had about 5 handguns.
Exactly. If I'm walking down the street with a shotgun, someone knows I'm walking down the street with a shotgun.
Yeah.
So handguns and stuff, I think, should be more regulated. They're brilliant for self-defense because they're concealable. They're easy to work into. They're easy to work into your normal life. However, the danger they possess is greater, in my opinion, because you don't know if it's there or not.
Yeah.
Rifles and shotguns and submachine guns and stuff like that, it comes into a whole other category. A hunting rifle is an incredibly powerful weapon.
Yeah.
It's generally going to fire like a 308 or something like that. Or a 300 Win Mag round, which is really stopping power. The bullet's got real stopping power.
Yeah. When it's taken down things like elk and stuff, obviously,
exactly.
Dense muscle stuff, it has to.
Yes, there is a bolt action to it. You'll generally have 5 to 7 rounds in it. This bolt action takes more time. They have greater accuracy, greater range. So you potentially pose more danger in that way. The AR platforms like AR-15s, AR-14s, M4s, M16s, stuff like that, armor-light guns. The 5.56mm round that they fire, the standard NATO chambered round, doesn't have such a big stopping power.
Yeah.
But equally, like I said, the standard Stanag magazine is 30 rounds.
Yeah.
And it isn't too hard, I would imagine, to convert a semi-automatic weapon that is commercially available to average Joe in the States to an automatic weapon. Surely you could buy parts from somewhere.
No, probably, or just modify it if you're a gun nut. Like
exactly.
Some people gun nuts.
I watched a video on Facebook of a guy who got, I think it was like 10 semi-automatic AK-74s. And he built essentially a Gatling gun where he has like a winch, like a crank that has all these guns attached to it. You're taking the barrel and the receiver assemblies and the magazines, and he loads a 30-round mag into each one, and as he cranks it, it fires as it goes past.
Yeah.
So, yes, you've got semi-automatic weapons, but you've strapped 10 of them together and you're firing one every split second, so you've now essentially made an automatic weapon.
Yeah.
And that's just like the guy was like in his 60s.
Well, that's why I'd say
he just made it up in the workshop.
I'd say with guns, you should only be able to own. With the gun law thing in America, I'd say you should only really be able to own a certain amount, and it should be registered. Obviously, people will be able to somehow get it in other ways, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
But there should be a thing where like gun collectors. If people want to have, some people really into guns, and that's fine. And maybe have some sort of way where you can have guns where they haven't got. You can buy, say, you can buy, I don't know. You're only allowed to have X amount of ammo. As a human, like I can only buy say I'm only allowed to have 200 bullets.
Yeah.
For all across all the guns. That includes shotgun shells, handgun, literally 200 bullets at one time. They're all listed on this system. We have the internet now. Like, how hard would it be to have an electronic system to have a listing of all this sorts of stuff? Obviously there'd be people who'd skim it and
stockpile and hide and things like that. You're never going to avoid that. But if you remove the availability of it, you make it harder. In this country, our gun laws, you have to be licensed to own a gun. You can be, I think it's 18 years of age, you can own a shotgun, 21 you can own a handgun.
Right.
you have to have a reason for owning it, or you can't have it. You have to keep the firearm in one lock container and the ammunition in a separate lock container. You have to have the keys on you at all times. The only person allowed to have keys to them, or codes or whatever, depending on how you've locked it, is the license holder himself.
Yeah. You get checks as well every so.
Exactly, yeah. You have to refresh your license. Sometimes they can deny it. They can take firearms away. If I were to wave my airsoft gun around in the garden and my neighbour saw it and phoned the police would turn up straight away. Armed police would turn up to my house.
Yeah.
In the States, you phone up, go, oh, my neighbour's got his gun in the garden. They go, I hope he's cleaning it properly. You know, it's just so commonplace. I mean, over here, there is a gun problem insofar as that there is gun crime.
Yeah.
People commit burglaries, kill people, threaten people. It's primarily a gang thing, though.
Yeah.
Gun crime isn't caused by the average shotgun owner. The average shotgun owner is a farmer or somebody who goes clay pigeon shooting.
Yeah.
Whereas in the States, the average shotgun owner is just a guy who bought a shotgun.
Yeah.
And he can buy it whenever he likes.
Mm.
I mean, there was a program I was watching about a gun store in the States, and they have people come in. They go, "Oh yeah, I want to buy a gun. You know, I'm just it's to protect the house, and because I want one, and you know, I'd like a nice little pink fashionable one." And they take them out to the range to shoot the gun they're about to buy, and they're constantly feeding them information about, do you really need this? Do you really need something of this caliber, this power? You've never shot a gun before. Maybe you should have something a lot less potent, and you know, maybe you should really think about getting a gun. Maybe you should try shooting before you ever buy one. Or this, they're really quite conscious, the people who sell guns in America.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, at the end of the day, if someone wants to buy it, you kind of can't say no. Why should, you know, it's almost wrong to say you can't have it because I don't think you're good enough.
Yeah.
That guy can.
Yeah.
Because if everyone has the same right to own a gun, who are you to say no, you can't buy it?
And that's the end of another episode of Genuine Chit-Chat. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in. As I said in the intro, part 2 of that chat won't be up till 2018. New year, yay, woo, everyone's excited. I'm not really, to be honest. I'm glad to have a bit of time off between Christmas and New Year-ish, but yeah, I'm sure I'll blink and it'll probably be bloody Christmas 2018 as well. And there won't be a Star Wars film out at that time either, so that'd be quite upsetting. Anyway, yeah, so tune in the new year for part 2 of Dom. It's going to be all about religion, really, about religious extremism, and then we also go into Christianity, and, you know, I'm an atheist, he's a Christian, so it's a pretty good chat. Well, pretty good, I think it's a bloody brilliant chat, but, you know, I'm a bit biased, and I'm a bit egotistical, because it's my own voice that I'm listening to, and right now I'm just blithering on in a room by myself, so that's all fun. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. You know, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, review us on iTunes, do anything you want really with this. If I'm being honest with you, if you listen to it while you're having sex, I don't even know how I think about that. It'd be kind of, would that be flattering or would it be scary? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm rambling on at the end of this podcast and everyone's just hoping for it to be over. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll speak to you in the new year.